Well, we've got new footage that has dropped from the night that Taylor Frankie Paul was arrested. New camera footage, plus a Mormon Wives spinoff. Let's do a little myth busting today. And why does DadTok have to ruin everything? I feel like I might get a little Zack-activated today. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. This is No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, serve fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. And dive in we shall. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in, everybody in the club. What's up? Hi, guys. Happy with today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, March 24th. Let's get it. I am on Juicy Scoop. Heather McDonald. Juicy Scoop. And I'm very excited to be back on Juicy Scoop. Oh, Okay. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop. So check out an all-new episode of Juicy Scoop. It is a juicy one. So much tea, so much going on in the club. So I hope you guys tune in and enjoy. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to load this media. But okay. Lots of Mormon Wives stuff to get into today. So we're probably really gonna focus heavily on the Mormon Wives tea. I did watch, so I don't know if you guys are fans of Hannah Montana, or I mean, I feel like I'm a millennial still at heart. And so I grew up. I mean, Hannah Montana was like the end of my journey in Disney Channel. I feel like I eventually like outgrew. I did Lizzie McGuire's, like all the Hillary Duff, Lizzie McGuire stuff. I really loved. And now that Hannah Montana has reached its 20-year anniversary, I wish we would have gotten something like this for Lizzie McGuire, but we didn't because, well, we had the Lizzie McGuire reboot that was supposed to happen. Fun fact, fun story, actually. When the Lizzie McGuire reboot was happening, it was there was this Disney game show that they were trying to build. It was called, I think, The Disney Files was the working title, and it was like a family game show, like Family Feud, but it was all Disney trivia. And my family actually signed up for it. And then if you win, you get an all expenses paid trip to any of the theme parks in the world. So we're like, ooh, do we want to go to Japan? Do we want to go to like whatever? And so we ended up filming the show. It was really cool. They had like a whole set. Like it was like a full on like game show, and we competed against another family, and it was fun. And then it was, you know, the families all battle it out, and then each family continues on to the next week until it's the final two families, and then it's shebang. And so we all had to have like an expertise. Like they're like, okay, well, who wants to take like the Star Wars world? Like who wants to be, because that was all part of like the Disney umbrella. I think Marvel was part of it too. And there were 4 of us that competed. And so we each had to have our own like specialty. So I think my mom's specialty was, I think, Star Wars. And then my cousin Mike, his was, I want to say like the Marvel universe. My Aunt Amber, I want to say like did Disney classics, like the cartoon classics. And then my specialty, because they were trying to build up the Lizzie McGuire reboot, my specialty was Lizzie McGuire, which made sense because I grew up watching it. So I had to go back and watch all of Lizzie McGuire all over again and study lines, study catchphrases, you know, and try to think of like, what are some of the wacky, wild questions that they could ask me? And I will say, our family in the first episode, our family was like, not doing too strong. Like everybody else did not come in as prepared as I was hoping that they would with their specialty and their niche. Granted, studying Star Wars or studying Marvel is a much bigger case to carry rather than just studying Lizzie McGuire, where you only have like 2 seasons. And I will say that when it came to doing like the solo round where you had to fight for some points, I brought the family back up, and we definitely I saved us. With my Lizzie McGuire trivia knowledge, I slayed and I slayed hard. So yeah. Yeah, that's just a little fun fact, fun little tidbit. But I'm so excited to see so many people responding well to the tour tapes. So many people have posted on their Instagram stories. Megan, Tara, who else? So many people. Isaac. So many people have been posting. I've been seeing they're posting their stories, and it's just really sweet. I'm so grateful to you guys for standing by me and supporting me with the tour tapes. It ended on Sunday, so if you have not binged or caught up yet, you can catch the tour tapes. All 6 episodes are streaming now on YouTube. There's a whole playlist on my YouTube channel where you can watch all the episodes. You can watch all the episodes on Spotify. You can just search Zack Peter the Tour Tapes on Spotify, and you can watch them all there. Or if you're a member of No Filter All Access on Supercast, you can check it out there as well. It was great. It was good. So thank you. I have been seeing, there was one post that really meant a lot to me. It's this, her name is Tara, and she is, sorry, not Tara, Kara. Her name is Kara, and she has a son with autism, and she's been so supportive. And so she used to know me from, we used to put on this conference in Dallas every year called the Autism Education Summit. Because I think for those of you that are newer to me and my content, prior to podcasting full time, my background was in nonprofit fundraising, specifically celebrity nonprofit fundraising. So I did a lot of like social campaigns and charity events. And I worked with, that's how I have a close relationship with Jenny McCarthy, is we used to fundraise together. I was the executive director of her autism foundation. And so we would produce a 3-day conference in Dallas every year. And so Kara would come to the conference every year. And there were a number of moms that we met. And so we had a grant program. And so what the grant program used to do is it would provide medical grants for families that had children on the autism spectrum. And it would cover doctor's visits, lab testing, nutritional counseling. We would send them, a 90-day supply of like the core supplements that you should be taking: a multivitamin, omega-3s, probiotics. And I remember at the time, like this was back in the 2010s that these programs began. And I remember at that time, like everybody, like all the medical community was like, this is quackery. Probiotics are quackery. They don't do anything. They're not real. There's no proof that omegas are good for the brain. And like, here we are in the 2020s, and how everything has changed. And now everybody takes probiotics and prebiotics and postbiotics. And like, it's a whole, I think I even did a brand deal with Seed the Symbiotic, which actually I still take. It's in my cabinet. I take it every day. But, like the science has developed, but it's so crazy how we were so ahead of the curve at that time, but yet we were considered quacks, and we were considered, crazy conspiracy theorists to think that like omega-3s could affect brain development. Or there's this, woman, her name is JJ Virgin, and she wrote a book. I think it's called Warrior Mom or something like that. And in her book, she talks about how her son was in a really debilitating accident, and how she read like new and emerging research about the effects for a healthy brain from omega-3s. And so she was like trying to get the doctors to give her son omega-3s so that he didn't suffer too much brain damage from the accident. And they were hesitant. They're like, that's not new data. Like they were so traditional and so like old school. Like their thing when it comes to treating the body is medication, which that's not to say that there isn't a lane for medication in modern technology and modern medicine. But nutrition is also such a cornerstone, right? Like there's stuff in our food. I mean, obviously our food system has changed a lot, but like there are things that are beneficial to our bodies that we've used for centuries. And so with that, she implemented it and she got them to do it. And like he had a full recovery, which is incredible. But so that was part of the protocol that we were doing. We cover this program for families. It was a full 90-day program. And so a lot of those families to this day have continued to support me and have shown up at my shows. And you've seen a little bit of that journey on the tour tapes. I think you see it in the Dallas episode, and you see it in the Chicago episode, and even in the finale. And, it's just so special to see. And then Kara was posting, and it kind of like really warmed my heart to see how much her son has improved. And you'll see in the tour tapes in the Dallas episode, which is the first episode, she opens up about her son and how they said that he would never learn how to drive. And then here he is all these years later, and he's driving, and he's hit all of these milestones that she didn't expect. That's not to say that we're taking credit for any of that. That's obviously the hard work that she's put into it, but it's been so incredible to have met her through these conferences and to now see her all these years later. And to, it was just very special. And to see her sharing the tour tapes and the clip that we taped together when I brought them backstage to see me before the show, it was really sweet. And I just wanted to acknowledge that and hold space for that, because that was, a really special time. Okay, that's it. Shall we dive in? We have a lot of DadTok news, some Taylor Frankie Paul news, some new footage that we're going to review. There's so much, so much. Love your swag, classy AF. Well, there's new swag coming, James. I actually just gave notes on our latest merch launch, which is going to be launching in April, and I need you guys to help decide what charity we're going to donate to. So obviously, April is Autism Awareness Month, and so I've in the past donated proceeds to Home Life Community, but oh my God, Chaperone did it again at the airport. I think that's an old video, Debbie. But so we're launching new merch in April ahead of the trial. That way you guys can order it in advance and it can arrive in time for the May trial with Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. And so I'm debating maybe for the month of April, all of the proceeds will be donated to autism. And then for the month of May, we'll have all of the proceeds there donated to the nomore.org foundation. So I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll break it up. That way we can, because I was like, instead of dividing it, I think for all of the month of April, I will donate 50% of my proceeds from all of the merch to Home Life Community, which is building housing and community for adults on the autism spectrum and with other neurological conditions. And then in honor of my brother, who's now 24 years old with autism. And then in May, in honor of It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni's charity, nomore.org, we will donate. Last time we raised over $6,000. I donated $6,600 to the No More Foundation. So I would love to beat that record. I would love to raise a lot of good money. So just get ready. Stay tuned. Check it on out. Okay, let's take a quick ad break to shout out this week's sponsor, and then we will dive into all of the tea, everybody. Hey. So listen, the weather may start to be warming up depending on where you're at and where you're listening to this or watching this from. Things may be getting a little warmer, which is an indication that summer is coming, right? And somewhere in between the first warm weekend and realizing that short season's getting close, eating well kind of stops feeling optional, right? We're like, oh, snap, where did my New Year's resolutions go? Well, Factor is how I stopped letting my busy schedule be my excuse, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I didn't have time. I'm just going to order something. I don't have time to cook dinner. I'm too tired to cook dinner. Listen, Factor comes with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, ready in 2 minutes. No planning, no cooking. They come with quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. Yuck. Meals that fit your goals and your schedule, eating healthier, calorie management, more protein, whatever is on your list of goals. Factor is here. They even have options that include high protein. That's what I personally love and go with. Calorie smart if you're trying to watch your figure, Mediterranean diet if you're trying to lean into the proteins, GLP-1 support if you're doing the GLP-1s. They have ready to eat salads if you just want to keep it clean. If you want to do a little building, you want to be like, let me build the, then you can check their new Muscle Pro collection. Be like, get it. Helps with strength, muscle recovery, all good things, right? Always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes, no prep, no stress, and you can actually stick to your goals with the help of Factor. Factor helps me stick to my goals and takes the guesswork out of the question that plagues me daily. What's for dinner? Now I know. Factor. Head to factormeals.com/nofilter50 off to get and use code NOFILTER50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. All right. Are we ready to drag dad talk? Well, Janelle. So for starters, we have, I actually have some exclusive tea here. And if you listen to me on Juicy Scoop this week, I talk about how there was this idea to build a West Coast Secret Lives of Mormon Wives spinoff. And it was originally set to include Jen Affleck, Whitney, and Demi. And so with the three of them, because you will notice in this most recent season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, season 4, Jen does make references to be like, wow, I could see us living in LA. Wow, should we consider moving to LA? And so she drops a lot of those hints, which is what she was, I think, hoping to drop little Easter eggs that could tease a potential spinoff for the Mormon Wives franchise, right? I don't know if it'll still be Mormon Wives. I don't know if it'll be Secret Lives of something else. I do hear that there is a development of a new reality show coming for Christian wives. in Southern California, which kind of sounds a little exciting. I don't know. I want to see them get a little feisty. I want to see them be live fast, die. What is it? Bad girls, what? Do it well. Da, nah, nah, nah. Bad girls do it well. So anyway, I will give you some tea because people came out and reported, which was after I had already reported it. I want to be very clear. I had the scoop and I posted about it on X a day before people posted about it as their exclusive. And so there was a spinoff that was in the works. And then Demi ended up getting fractured and not being part of the group anymore and leaving the show with all the drama and the legal saga with Marciano. Whitney ends up moving to New York City, and she picked up and moved her family to New York City now that she had this Roxy Hart gig. So it seems like she may be there for a while. I don't know if she's permanently left Utah or what her plans are, but it doesn't appear that she has any place to stay here in LA unless she would have to move back here and find a place to rent or even possibly a place to buy. But she's over in New York doing her thing. So that only leaves Jen Affleck. And so per my source that gave me some tea, because we love all the exclusive tea. Am I right? And so I got this morning that basically confirmed that there is no official. So if you'll notice in the People magazine article, they mentioned that Jen Affleck is going to be at the cornerstone of this potential spinoff. But then they also mentioned that nobody at Hulu and nobody at ABC has confirmed this news. And I was like, oh, well, because it was rumor and it's still just a rumor. But so it was apparently supposed to be centered around the OC, not Los Angeles, which I think they were kind of torn between should it be LA, should it be OC? And so it looks like it's going to be centered in the OC or anchored in the OC. And it's not a Hulu announcement. There's no official confirmation on this show. This is one of the cast members that's leaking this info. And here's the truth. Some producers filmed a development tape in February. That is, it still has to be edited and pitched. As of 3 weeks ago, they were seeking a network for it. These things shoot all the time. Real Housewives of Chicago and every other city, Basketball Wives in every city. Now, Mormon Wives, 90% of them never see the light of day, which is very true. How many times have they tried to do Real Housewives of Chicago and it just doesn't go anywhere? It never gets greenlit. Basketball Wives, same thing. Football Wives, they've tried to make these shows happen so many times, and a lot of the times they never get greenlit. I've done a number of reality shows that never got greenlit. It says this has not been greenlit by Hulu. I'm not saying that it will never be, but it was at least a few months before any real update. Okay, so apparently they filmed back in, they filmed some stuff to put together something to pitch networks back in February. Now, Jen is still under contract with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She's still under contract with Hulu. So I think she's hoping that if they can find a good group or whoever is spearheading this, but at least we know Jen is set to be a part of this, which tells me it was likely Jen and or Zack or somebody on their team that was trying to push forth this new show, which also makes sense why Zack went on a rant the other day and he started trashing the Secret Lives production and the producers, and he's saying that the storylines were fake and that they never actually lived in Whitney's house, that was all staged for the show, that they showed up in the U-Haul, unloaded their boxes for the cameras, and then once cameras went down, they packed up the U-Haul again and they went to go stay at the home that they were staying at. They always had it. They always had their own home. They never needed to stay with Whitney and Connor. And then he also talks about how the finale, where there's the sit down with Zack and Whitney, and Zack's filling in for Jen because she wasn't feeling up to the conversation or whatever. Zack's like, Jen didn't tell me to go. Or somebody else, he hints that it was production, told him to go in to meet Whitney, and that was a produced scene. So, yeah, I don't know. But as of right now, there doesn't appear to be any official pickup or green light of this alleged Mormon Wives spinoff. It's all fake news. It's all let's plant the story ahead of time and see what we can make happen. But I think as of right now, Hulu's probably like, let's just put a pause on things. Let's just take a beat. Ooh, Catholic school wives. That would be kind of fun. And then the promos could be them dressed in Catholic school girl outfits. What a good idea. Listen, if you're down for a Mormon Wives spinoff or you're just down for this podcast, hit that like button, drop a comment, hit the subscribe. Make sure you're keeping up with No Filter with Zack Peter. We have new episodes that stream Monday through Fridays. Okay. Okay, so that's the tea on the spinoff. And now it seems like I don't know. DadTok is really coming and trying to ruin everything. So first of all, we had the video leak, which I don't know if TMZ, because obviously there's some speculation that TMZ may have obtained the footage through a Freedom of the Information Act request to, as the media, you can file these types of requests and get certain information. And it does appear that they've now published multiple videos from the night that Taylor Frankie Paul was arrested, including the body cam footage. And so TMZ is obtaining these videos and publishing them. Presumably, because it's body cam footage, they're getting this from the public court systems, right? This is all stuff that was used as evidence against Taylor Frankie Paul back when she was arrested in 2023. So presumably that could be how they obtained this iPhone footage. And I know some people are saying, well, but it has the TMZ watermark on it, which means that TMZ must have obtained that video exclusively. Well, all of the body cam footage that TMZ has released from that night also has the TMZ watermark on it. So it's actually seeming more possible that maybe Dakota didn't actually leak this or send them this tape. Maybe he tipped them off. I don't know. Emily D. Baker debunked the Freedom of the Information request due to the TMZ watermark. Yes, but TMZ is all traditionally, yes. However, they are also watermarking the body cam footage. And that's not a leak from somebody. And that's not exclusive because anybody can file a Freedom of Information Act. And listen, TMZ, if they're the first to publish, they're going to put a watermark on it regardless. They always do. Most of your favorite, pop culture news Instagram people put their watermark on content all the time, whether it's their exclusive or not. So obviously you put the watermark on it because you're the first. And so you want to make sure that if anybody circulates that your logo is front and center. And then you can, definitely claim some sort of ownership because you were the first to publish it. But that's why a lot of times, as somebody that has worked with, or not worked with the press, but obviously I've interviewed a number of stars on this show and it gets picked up in the press a lot of the times. Usually it's People Magazine that picks it up first and they'll pull the quotes. A lot of times, here's a little insider tea. A lot of times we'll send them the quotes. We'll be here are the topics covered, here the top 4 topics covered, and here are direct quotes. And so all these outlets do is they just highlight the quote, they copy and paste, and then they publish the article. And then all the other news outlets copy that article and be per People Magazine, here's what so-and-so said on the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. And so they just attribute it back to People because People was the first to publish it. So in this case, TMZ wanting to be the first to publish it and knowing that other people will circulate it from that story, rather than other people going to obtain that footage, or rather than other people screenshotting that footage and sharing it and putting their own watermark on it, it's owned by TMZ because they were the first to get it and the first to publish it. That wouldn't prevent anybody else from going and obtaining that same information and publishing it and putting their watermark on it. But I don't know. So no exhibits, no Freedom of the Information. Well, we don't know because obviously Dakota is not leaking this body cam footage. The body cam footage has been out there for a while. Hulu obtained the body cam footage when they published Secret Lives of Mormon Wives episode 1. So however this footage is being obtained, it's accessible and it's being circulated. And it has been accessible and circulated for years. So I don't know. I mean, I tried to dig into this court case and see if we could access any of the exhibits, or I don't know. But it's also possible that there's somebody on the legal teams. It's possible that somebody on Dakota's legal team or somebody that has access to these files in his legal team could have leaked it as well. I'm not saying that that's not possible. I'm just saying it's also within the realm of possibility that we can't completely debunk the Freedom of the Information Act, especially when it comes to the watermark, because people are using the watermark. And now it apparently seems that Emily D. Baker is also referencing that TMZ is still the type of publication that's still going to run with that. It is interesting though, because I did see people are well, they didn't put a watermark on the Justin Timberlake footage. So I don't know. It's confusing. I don't know. But okay, so let's actually review this new footage. So we have Zac Efron, who's literally just completely dragging production. And like I said, he's revealing all of this. I posted a video on on the No Filter Instagram account, No Filter with Zack on Instagram. So you can check out some of the bits of what he said. I recapped it for you. And then Now we have Jordan, and Jordan is filing for divorce from Jessi on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And following his divorce filing, I believe it was the next day. So this may have been what, Friday of last week. He also filed a restraining order, a temporary restraining order, a TRO. Okay. And in the TRO, or with the TRO, we don't know the details of what he was requesting. A lot of people think it's about physical safety. Sometimes it could be about financials. Other times it could be about, preventing them from coming in contact with each other. I've heard some people say that he could even use this to try and prevent her from speaking out. And so, I don't know. But it was denied this morning. So as of this morning, the judge did not approve. So he filed for the temporary restraining order. She opposed it, and it appears she won because the restraining order was not upheld. So he lost that one for now. And so it appears that Jessi will be appearing on Call Her Daddy this Wednesday, which is tomorrow, March 25th. So I don't know. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So he didn't make it. Sorry. Sucks to be Jordan. But would Jordan filing all this to presumably make Jessi look bad and give him an upper hand in the divorce? Zac Efron throwing production completely under the bus, which would make sense if they are trying to get their own spinoff greenlit because they see that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, especially the Utah version, is in the can, and they want to jump to a new show and kind of come off the heights of this, and then they can be like, yeah, that production company was fake. We don't even want to work with them. It was such a fake show, and so now we're doing our own show. It's going to be real. It's going to be so real. I can see them doing that. Okay. And then we have Dakota and the leak of this footage. Was it Dakota? Wasn't it? I don't know. We don't know. It may have been. It may not have been. Yeah, they don't want to watermark the Timberlake footage because he sued over it. Yes, but he agreed to release this footage. So with the Justin Timberlake, I feel like I explained this the other day, but I'll explain it again. With the Justin Timberlake footage, he was suing to prevent it to get out, but then he reached an agreement, and he agreed with, what was it, Sag Harbor? With the Sag Harbor Police Department. I believe that was the PD that was trying to get it released publicly. He tried to sue them. They came to an agreement, and they both parties, the lawsuit was dropped because both parties agreed to release the footage as long as there were parts of the footage that Justin Timberlake wanted taken out. He wanted those pieces redacted. So there are parts of it that were cut out. Did I say Zac Efron? Sorry, if I said Zac Efron, I didn't mean Zac. You guys know I mean Zac Affleck. So yeah. Did I keep saying Zac? I think somebody mentioned Zac Efron in the live chat, and I didn't know if I accidentally said it or it was just like a slip of the tongue, or after seeing it in the live chat, I kept saying it. But you guys know I mean Zac Affleck. So Justin Timberlake, he got parts of that footage to be cut out. The Sag Harbor Police Department agreed to cut out that footage or pieces of it. We don't know what is in that footage, but Justin Timberlake was okay with the rest of it being released as long as certain pieces were redacted. So I don't know. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to tell you. So let's get into, we can watch the new footage if you want to watch the new footage, because it's interesting. Okay, here, let me pull it up. Oh, and Perez. Oh, poor Perez. Love to Perez. He was sick and he's been in the hospital for 3 weeks, and fortunately he's finally out. So love to Perez, wishing him a speedy recovery. All the love in the club. We never wish anybody any ill will, so we want to be sure we're sending the LO. So there was new footage that TMZ published with Taylor Frankie Paul when the police arrived to come, and I guess they confiscated one of the chairs, one of the metal chairs that she threw at Dakota. So they came to pick that up. So that happened. That footage was released as well. That came from the Heron City Police Department. But see, the interesting thing is TMZ has a watermark on this as well, and they're crediting the Heron City Police Department. So this is why I think the whole FOIA argument about them putting a watermark on this footage is different, because they had to have obtained it from. They're giving credit to Heron Police Department for this body cam footage, because that's, unless they sent the request to the Heron Police Department, Harriman, sorry. Unless they sent it to the Harriman Police Department, I don't know. I don't know what to. I don't know. Okay, let's watch this because here's a piece of the body cam footage that hasn't been publicly released yet that appears to show Dakota kind of defending Taylor Frankie Paul that night. Different states, different laws, possibly. What's a body cam? Body cam are the cameras that police officers wear when they're making an arrest. So yeah, Taylor Frankie Paul 2023 arrest. Body cam shows Dakota begging cops to arrest him instead. Sounds kind of typical for, the abused, right? And so we saw the original where she admits to everything. She admits to throwing the chairs at him. She admits to blacking out and raging on him. She owns up to all of this stuff. All right, here we go. Oh, this is when they first show up. And this is where you see her strike him at the start.
Stop! Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Nothing.
She's hammered.
And so is he.
I'm sober.
But they're also about me.
How about we separate
Taylor,
for now?
You need to just calm down.
You got
it.
Hey, stop.
Stop. Just
We're not doing this.
Okay, but he threw me out in the garage.
This does not appear to be reactive abuse. She's the one that is being, I mean, granted, you could say he's performing for the police and he's like, I'm not going to touch her because the police are here. But she's clearly not in her right mind if she's acting this way in front of police officers. Look at her eyes.
because she is attacking the crap out of
You threw me in the garage.
Okay, stop.
lying.
Okay.
You can just
Okay,
go
okay.
that way.
Oh
Okay.
my
I just want to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay. Over here.
Okay.
I don't need people
Okay, you're
throwing
good.
hands at people.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. Now I want to talk to you
Please don't let me
separately.
take any of my stuff. Please watch them.
Okay.
Please just watch them so I just
Do you
take
have-
any of my stuff.
Do you have my other officer is going to stay with him? Okay.
Where's my phone then?
Do you have a jacket or
So this is after the neighbors called. So I don't know if they were even aware the police were about to show up. And then here's parts where Dakota's talking to authorities. Because we've seen Taylor's, we've seen some of Dakota's in his car, in his truck, which I believe Taylor also damaged as well. But here's what Dakota had to say.
Goes. She's so in talk that it's hard to get out what happened tonight.
Yeah.
So what she is telling me is, she went out for a girls' night. So did that happen?
Yeah, she
Yes.
does.
Okay. And then she said that you came to pick her up from girls' night, and then, but couldn't really elaborate. So she said you were bitching her out in the car.
Yeah.
So just elaborate on that. What happened?
For this reason right here, she's not doing okay in life. She's struggling right now. She's going through a lot. Alcohol is something that we kind of. So it's something that we've communicated as a couple to try to stay away from those things, right? And for her health right now, especially due to just she is struggling, adding alcohol to that, just like tonight for a prime example, just explodes.
Is this all from tonight?
Yeah, dude. I mean, bro, I can't even tell you the stuff that just happened.
Is any of this property yours?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think my finger.
I don't like the bro. I don't like when he's like, nah, bro. Yeah, man. I don't like you talking to cops like that. Have a little respect for our law enforcement. Thank you very much.
Broken, dude. My I don't know. Is there a bump there? Oh, because that hurts so bad. She hit me with the freaking metal chair. Yeah, it was in shock. Now I can feel all the pain.
Yikes. Well, this just looks like a messy apartment. I don't know if that was all thrown that night.
But
So you don't live there,
no.
and these kids are hers?
Yes.
Okay. So you're coming home. You're upset because she's intoxicated.
Well, I'm not.
She mentioned something. She mentioned something about. It's okay to be upset.
Yeah.
She mentioned something about you had a concert or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So she was having girls' night. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to a concert with my friends. And she was like, oh no, come pick me up. I want to come with you. So that's why I went and picked her up, and that was our plan. We were gonna come back here because she didn't have her ID on her. She was gonna grab her ID here, and then we were gonna go to the concert. But once I picked her up, I was like, No.
You're in no condition.
Yeah, you're
to
no,
go
like
back.
absolutely not. That was pissing her off. The thing she was saying to me.
He doesn't appear drunk. He does not appear to be under any substances. My impression, I mean, maybe he's had a beer or two, but he doesn't seem to be out of it.
Was where I was getting more upset. It wasn't necessarily that part.
What
of
was
it,
she saying?
oh, just like awful things to me, I mean, just like as far as like just tearing me down, I guess, like just saying mean things.
I disagree. I don't think he looks wasted at all.
So like, that sucks. Like, but I also just went silent for a good.
I believe the kids are
40
upstairs.
minutes too, while she was just screaming and crying and, yeah. And then like, I mean, it wasn't really anything crazy to be honest with you until we got here.
Mhm.
Once I pulled in here, I'm trying to think when it started. She started hitting me. Oh, because I tried to leave. I was like, I'm gonna leave. Oh no, she came in here first. Yeah, she came in here and threw her phone at me, and I was like, and this was like in front of like 2 of her family members, and she's like screaming at me like,
You're
Just don't-
outside, I'm inside. This is my house. Get out.
Taylor, okay.
No, Taylor, okay.
Hey,
Get
Taylor,
out of my house.
when I told you how this was going down,
Ooh, please get him mad at her. I told you how this was going to go down.
I know that was probably hard to see.
why can't it be me? Can I go and replace her?
No, because the way it works is she was the primary aggressor of everything.
Hmm.
I can't do this with her. I can't do this with her, dude.
You can't do this to you, he says.
I can't really see you. But
I just can't even tell how.
the reality, that's the reality of this, is that you were victimized tonight, and that's why we're here. Is we don't want further violence.
Yeah.
And
Oh, this is a good point. That Wyan and F Boutique says whether he had a beer or not, he was alert and aware the child was hurt. She was the one that kept going at it, and she kept going at it until the cops arrived. And even in the presence of law enforcement, in the presence of the authorities, she continued to hit him. When they opened the door, we just watched that footage. You cannot deny what is on the tape. So, yes, I agree.
maybe this is the reality check she needs, that like, hey, I need to get things in check. So I just want to talk to you over there real quick.
Okay. Oh God.
What is, do you know, yeah, like I can't make you fill that out.
Yeah.
It's voluntary. But I mean, that's your side of the story. Again, she's alleging a different side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the only thing. Like, if she's wanting to like push stuff, then like I'm gonna have to. But like, I truly just want her to like just get help and just that's that.
And that's I understand that, and that's what I'm hoping this results in. I'm not.
So he doesn't want this to move forward. He seems to not want there to be an arrest. And from what we know of Taylor's side of the story of what happened that night, from what she told authorities, what she said, she claims he locked her in the garage and that he pushed her. He pushed her into some toys or something. Now, arguably, you could say if she's coming at him, yeah, you may push her off. Okay. Number one. And number two, when it comes to locking her in the garage, he says it was because she was becoming erratic or she was getting out of hand. And he just like, I guess, locked. I don't know. I don't like that he locked her in there. I don't like that he pushed her. But either of those two instances do not compare to what she did to him. You see her scratching him. You see her hitting him. You see her trying to choke him. You see her throwing multiple chairs at him, all in the presence of her daughter. Arguably, you could say she didn't know her daughter was there. But the second the chair hits the daughter, because that's what it looked like from the footage, is that the chair flew in the direction of the daughter, and the daughter immediately starts screaming, crying. A kid does not scream and cry like that out of nowhere, or they get scared. But when there's a lot of yelling and things that are flying around and the kid's not really reacting to that, but then suddenly the chair goes into the direction of the little girl, and then not even seconds later, immediately after, she starts screaming, crying. You can't tell me. Like, I'm not convinced that the chair did not hit the daughter. You can see it. Taylor's mom can say whatever she wants. Taylor can say whatever she wants. But you can also see Taylor was clearly like blacked out and not aware, because then not even does the screaming little girl, not even does the fear and the terror and the pain in her daughter's voice, that wasn't even enough to wake her up. Right? At that point, she was not somebody that could tend to her kid and tone herself down. At that, and we don't know what happened to the kids at this point, but you do hear Dakota say, "You just hit your daughter. Check on your daughter. Check on your daughter." Like, you know, I don't know. Mishy says he could have left a million times. It's her house. Stop fucking blaming this man. I'm so pissed when people do this shit. Like, stop blaming him. Yeah, maybe he should have walked out. Yeah, maybe he should have, you know what? He should have just let her bang him in the face with the chair, because he probably deserved it. Like, is that where we're at right now? The number of people that keep just trying to be like, he could have done this. He could have not filmed her. He could have just called the police. He could have, like, he could have done a million different things. That doesn't absolve her of any wrongdoing. Stop defending her. It's fucking disgusting that people are even trying to defend her and put out a false narrative when all of the evidence counters that 1000%. And not only that, you have the child that is in the presence of this, especially the kids that are upstairs. And you're going to tell me this is the first time something like this has ever happened? I don't believe that. Imagine if that was your kid, if you were the parent there and you witnessed this. That's insane to me. And she also wasn't letting him leave. He claims that she wasn't letting him leave. She wouldn't let him get his car, which I think is why he locked her in the garage. I don't know. I literally don't know. But don't come into my comments and defend an abuser, okay? Not just a domestic violence abuser, a child abuser. She hit her kid with the chair. I don't tolerate that shit. Do not come into my comment section and defend her just because she's a woman and people want to be like, well, but it's different. No, anybody that views this from a black and white lens of like, well, women get a pass and men don't get a pass. Stop with that shit. Wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who's doing it, because the tune that you would be singing if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, Taylor should have just left. She shouldn't have been there. No, it was wrong what she did. She should have never, thank you. She should have never touched him. People forget that abuse can come from both ways. Not only men are abusive. Exactly. Well, hold on. I want to play this clip for you guys, because this one really, well, so we see that Dakota from this footage.
I'm not
sorry,
trying to jam anyone up or take them to jail to take them to jail. Like, I want the problem solved.
Does someone get charged then or something?
She is going to be charged with domestic violence.
Oh my gosh.
But that's, I know that's hard to hear, but that's the reality of the situation, and I'm glad that it wasn't worse. Because, like, what if she was throwing stuff at you and damaging your property?
Kitchen
and
knife or something.
like,
Yeah.
what if the off chance that she grabbed a
what if the
knife,
kitchen
it's already
knife?
clear that she wasn't thinking straight, right?
Yeah.
She was beating up his car.
Normally in your relationship, it's lovey-dovey, honky-dory, right? But in this specific case, that can't be ignored.
Yeah. I mean,
What if she was to grab the knife or something else and it escalates again? So the main thing is a reality check saying like, hey, that's not okay. And ignoring it's not going to help the problem either. Like, you guys waking up tomorrow morning and acting like it never happened, or having one little conversation and maybe like a smack on the wrist, that doesn't typically help.
dude, you're right. And that's kind of just how it's been too with her. I mean, that's what she does. And then she'll usually in the morning, she'll act like everything's
So-
Okay, so there's, I hate that I'm even in a place where it looks like I'm defending this dude, because I'm not defending this dude. I'm defending the children. As a child myself that witnessed things that made me fearful, right, of my stepfather. I don't tolerate this, not even a little bit. This is one issue. There are very few issues that will push my buttons to the extent of that, Why is it? Yeah, look, this is another good. Why is it such a big deal? Who leaked the video footage? People should be more concerned. I made this, thank you, should be more concerned about the contents of the footage rather than who leaked the footage. Because here's the other thing. I said this on Juicy Scoop. It's a great episode. Go listen to Heather McDonald's Juicy Scoop. I made this point about how, like, one, that people are more upset about who leaked the footage rather than the contents of the footage. And it's like, you're so fucking stupid to ignore the poor little girl that's in this situation that had to witness this and that got hurt as a result of this. And then to hear that this happened again last month. And listen, they're both contributing to this toxic situation and they should both not be doing this in front of their children. Let me be very clear about that. However, you cannot deny the objective evidence that is in front of our eyes. Here's where I make it a little feisty again, okay? I saw this video because Taylor Frankie Paul responded to this, and we'll get to her response in a second.
Dakota did this to the mother of his child on his child's birthday.
Did this to the mother of his child on his child's birthday. Okay.
Tells you everything that you need to know about Dakota.
What does it tell me? Because you still have no proof or evidence that Dakota is the one that leaked it. Now, I tend to be leaning to thinking that the video was originated from Dakota, but that's not to say that there wasn't a Freedom of Information Act request. We don't know how this footage got into the hands of TMZ. We all have theories. We're all taking guesses. We're all trying to piece it together, right? All we can do is provide conjecture, but we have no cold, hard, concrete evidence.
And for those of you who are going to say Taylor's at fault in this situation, just because she may or may not have done something to Dakota, it
may or may not have done something to Dakota. Those are the words that came out of Charlie's mouth here on TikTok. May or may not. Do you need to watch the footage again? I'm going to try to compose myself and not flip out right now, because I'm ready to pop off. May or may not. The way you downplay this woman's action, this abusive woman's actions, okay? Actions that injured her daughter. Again, watch the footage. The fact that he even says what she may or may not have done to Dakota, as if we don't have cold, hard evidence, as if there's not footage of her flinging metal chairs at him. What if one of those metal chairs had hit her kid in the eye? Like, we've heard reports of there being a goose egg on her daughter from getting hit from the chair. She threw 3 chairs at him. The cops had to come back and confiscate one of those chairs for evidence. It was a full investigation. There's no may or may not. There's the shit this girl did. She did this. Sit in that. Sit with that. She did this. And not only do you have the evidence that proves that, but you have her own admissions in court. Before a judge, she pleaded guilty. And not only that, but continuously went on multiple podcast interviews and called herself the aggressor, took accountability. And that's one of the things that people liked about Taylor Frankie Paul, is that she took accountability for these things. And we're going to get into that in just a second, right? But that's one of the ways she was able to capture America and get them to win her over, or get her to win them over, is by this vulnerability and this accountability that she was taking. And now people like Charlie, they want to absolve her of any accountability that she has already owned up to. These are indisputable facts from her own mouth, okay? And objective evidence. Footage doesn't lie. It may not capture everything, but it doesn't lie. And as of right now, after a police investigation, after reviewing all of the footage, after a court hearing, after an arrest and charges being filed, Taylor Frankie Paul was the abuser in this instance. We have no evidence to say that Dakota was the physical abuser towards Taylor ever. Ever.
Does not mean that Dakota wasn't also doing something to her. You can both be an abuser and abused at the same time. The two are not mutually exclusive.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm so glad you said that. The two are not mutually exclusive, okay? So if you're giving Taylor the pass for possibly being an abuser and a victim, you have to give Dakota the same pass. Or do you have double standards? That's the issue. And listen, here's the thing about when it comes to DV with men versus women, which also, because people like to pick and choose the arguments when when they happen to be convenient, right? If you're saying that there's a difference, because No, I don't want to make them political, but I'm just saying there are a lot of these Charlies that are also just like, well, it's okay to allow trans athletes in women's sports because there's no physical difference between men and women. And then you have instances like this where it's like, oh, well, no, the man should be judged differently because he's bigger, he's stronger, he's biologically got the advantage. Okay. Don't pick and choose the arguments. You need to have a fair standard all around. I agree with you that Dakota is taller, Dakota is stronger. I agree that men have a biological advantage over women. And that's why it's a little different when it comes to domestic violence from a man to a woman and from a woman to a man in terms of the level of damage, right? A man can do a lot more damage. I have a lot more empathy, a lot more sympathy, a lot more love for women in that sense because they are physically more vulnerable to men, right? Because men typically tend to be taller, stronger, more body muscle. There's a lot more that a man can overpower a woman with. Okay. That said, you cannot deny what we watched on this tape. Dakota was not an aggressor physically. She's throwing chairs at him. She's beating up his car. The police came, they investigated, they saw this. So if you're going to say that Taylor Frankie Paul can be an abuser and a victim at the same time, you have to also say that Dakota can be an abuser and a victim at the same time. So we have to hold that standard for both. And then when we hold that standard for both, then we have to look at the indisputable facts. You have Taylor's testimony. You have Taylor's word on podcasts. You have Taylor's guilty plea in a court of law before a judge. You have the evidence and the investigation, all of which are completely indisputable. Oh, Mishy wants to continue her argument saying, you and Donna come from a place of the children because that's your experience. You don't have experience with a narcissist that needles you to react. So he deserved it? Is that's what we're going with? Because we think he's a narcissist. We haven't clinically diagnosed him. We don't have a clinical diagnosis of him being a narcissist. And that's not to say that he's not mentally or emotionally abusive. I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm just saying we have no actual evidence of that. And you, my love, are not a therapist or clinical psychologist that can make that type of diagnosis from a few scenes that you've watched in The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You are not credentialed enough. None of us are, unless you are the person, the doctor that has analyzed Dakota and can come to that clinical diagnosis. People throw that term around very lightly, and I'm not going to diminish anybody's experience, whether it was with a real narcissist or somebody that was just emotionally abusive. I'm not going to negate that. Okay. But it's one thing to have your experience and judge somebody based off of an edited reality show where you're only seeing bits and pieces of them. And then to take my experience or Donna's experience as a parent, and then to watch that happen in front of a child. That is indisputable. There's physical harm. I'm not trying to negate mental or emotional abuse or mental or emotional harm, but there's a very clear difference between mental and emotional harm and physical harm. There is an imminent physical threat. Taylor put her daughter and Dakota and her other children in physical harm's way. That is indisputable. So if you want to talk about our experiences and how we bring our experiences to the table, absolutely. But I can also shelve my experience, put it over there, and say that what I witnessed on that footage and with the objective evidence and the objective reality in front of us that people want to not look at because they'd rather stick their head in the sand, it's indisputable. It's indisputable because it was also determined in a court of law with an admission of guilt from Taylor Frankie Paul herself. This isn't up for debate. The evidence is the evidence. The nice Canadian says, oh my God, everyone throws the term narcissism around so freely. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And here's the thing. And I think that there's a little difference with a lot of people have narcissistic tendencies. And I know this because I remember I had a therapist. I think I shared with you guys. I was in a treatment center for an eating disorder back in my early 20s. And I remember I ended up seeing one of those therapists afterwards. And then after our therapy, we ended up becoming friends for a while. And this was after she was like my therapist, and we'd collaborated on stuff together. But I remember asking her one time, I was like, do you think I'm a narcissist? And she goes, no, you're not a narcissist. And I was like, but how do you know that outside of the appointments that we've had, way before in the past? She's like, I know you're not a narcissist because you're asking that question. And that question alone means that you're not a narcissist. She goes, however, that doesn't mean that people don't have narcissistic tendencies. She says people can be selfish, people can be and that's kind of biology, right? We're all naturally organically selfish because primally biologically we're conditioned and primed for survival. So yeah, we're naturally going to be selfish. If we were in the jungle and we were cavemen, yeah, you're going to try to fight over for the whatever prey is easily accessible and available because you have to eat and you don't care if there's somebody else across the way. You're not biologically designed to be like, let me share the rabbit. You're like, let me take this and conserve this because I need to stay alive. That is how we are primally designed. So yeah, we can have narcissistic tendencies. We can be selfish and self-absorbed. And arguably with social media culture and with this new self-care culture, yes, we have become very, very selfish, right? But there's a difference between being selfish because culturally that's what we've been, that's what we've been driven to. And then there's actual narcissism. Very different. Very, very different. Okay. You can have traits that may be, that may may seem like a narcissist, but that doesn't mean that you actually are a narcissist. You can just be a little selfish sometimes. Mishi says, having a fight or flight is fight. Some people react to situations they perceive as threatening by fighting. Not all women are just going to take it and run away. Right. I'm not disagreeing with you. However, your argument is based on speculation. Your argument is based on conjecture. I just served you a nice, cold, hard dish of objective reality and facts. Get your handy dandy notebook and write this word, FACTS, facts. Indisputable. Your argument, Miss Quishy, your argument is based on conjecture, is based on your own experience and you putting that experience onto a situation that is indisputable. We watched what happened. There was a police investigation and Taylor Frankie Paul has admitted. So everything that you're saying about like, well, maybe he was abusing her. He wasn't. Taylor's admitted that. So you're literally pulling bullshit out of your ass. And now you're pissing me off because I'm like, you're literally making an argument that does not exist. It's not real. You're pulling it out of your own experience. And the same way I just showed you the example of me taking my experience and putting it on the shelf to still then objectively look at the evidence that's in front of us and Taylor Frankie Paul's own admissions herself, there's no argument here. Sorry, there's no argument. Her endangering her children in the process is bad. Okay, I agree to that. And just talking about her versus Dakota. Exactly, but we don't know anything about Dakota. All we know are the pieces that we've gotten on the reality show. But when it comes to what happened that led to her arrest in 2023, that is indisputable. And I'm not going to keep going round and round and round and round and round again because there's no argument to it. It's clear. This is one case where it's clear, cut, and dry. Isaac says, yeah, sorry, we don't have time for the what ifs. Just leave the chat. We're not in the democracy here today. Well, listen, a democracy is when you're trying to collectively achieve something, right? And you're all voting to achieve something. We're not trying to achieve anything. We've already witnessed it. A democracy would have been, let's all take a vote and determine whether or not we think Taylor Frankie Paul should have been the Bachelor or should be the Bachelor, right? And then collectively we all vote and some people will vote yes and some people will vote no. And then the overwhelming majority will determine whether or not she is or is not the Bachelor, right? Or whether or not Hulu and ABC do or do not release series. That is where you bring in the democracy. This is objective, right? This is clear. It is cut and dry. These are the facts. And Taylor has admitted these in her own words time and time again. Taylor is wrong. It's not open for debate. Exactly. It's not. Conjecture does not fight fact. Speculation does not fight evidence. That's why in a court of law, before a jury, there's the side that makes speculation and adds some conjecture, and we can kind of maybe possibly put the pieces together. But then when you have the evidence that proves it, it's indisputable. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. There we go. My heart breaks for young boys growing up in the new environment. You're the enemy of the man. It is unfortunate. And we're seeing that more and more. I think culturally we got into that, but now I'm hoping that there's a pendulum shift and we stop looking at things like, listen, again, biology and safety, you can see that there are indisputable facts that men traditionally, typically are larger and stronger than women, right? So when it comes to physical, altercations, yeah, a man can do more damage. And there's that's indisputable. But when it comes to roles, if we're going to abolish gender roles, then we have to also abolish those same gender roles when it comes to these types of circumstances, right? A woman can be an abuser and a man can be a victim. Those are very true, very real. And I'm agreeing with you on that, but you can't then pick and choose that, like, oh, well, just because you have some hatred for men, you also have to look at the glasses that you view things through, right? If you dated a narcissist in the past, or you've dated a series of narcissists, or you have a problematic relationship with your father, that can also cloud your judgment, and that can also guide you to see things a certain way. And you have to be able to take yourself outside of that and be like, oh, actually, let me look at this not from my own bias, but let me sit over here and look at this objectively and see if I feel the same way, and see how my preconceived conditioning or my past experiences may be affecting how I'm viewing this. And not many people are willing to do that because they only view things from their own lens because that's all they know how to do. But it's possible to take yourself out of that lens and look at something objectively, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's the part that people are afraid of. You can do both, but you have to be willing to do both. You can't see the world solely through your own bias. It's easy to see the world solely through your own bias, but at some point, you do have the ability to look at something objectively and put facts versus feelings aside. Okay. I knew I was going to get heated in this episode. Like, that was just... I knew I was going to get heated. Okay, some fun news. We have the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary. Well, 2 throwbacks, okay, for a little, let's shift gears here a little bit and change the tone to be something maybe a little more lighthearted. It is time for Watch or Skip. Okay, so watch or skip, Hannah Montana 20th anniversary. I don't know if you guys are millennials. I don't know if you grew up on it. But Alex Cooper helped spearhead this Hannah Montana 20th anniversary that streamed on Disney Plus. So shout out to Alex Cooper. Got to give the girl some love in the club. And Miley Cyrus just went and celebrated the 20-year anniversary with the launch of this new, it's a 1-hour special. It's available on Disney Plus. And it's Miley Cyrus going back to the old set of Hannah Montana. She has Selena Gomez in it. I just saw she has Chaperone in it. I'm like, why is Chaperone in this? Like, nobody wants to see that lady. We're all tired of her and her being mean to the 11-year-old little girls. Anyway, I watched it. I think I have like 20 minutes left. It's good. It's cute. It's nostalgic. It's fun. Billy Ray Cyrus is in it. Tish, Miley's mom, is in it. Selena Gomez is in it. Chaperone is in it. Alex Cooper is in it. Again, Alex Cooper is not the best interviewer. But listen, she's a smart businesswoman. I will give Alex Cooper that. She is a very, very smart businesswoman. That said, oh wait, Miss Squishy says, I like everyone here. I'm not trying to make you have a bad day. No, I appreciate that. Listen, and I know you got me a little fired up, but I also appreciate when somebody can present an alternative argument, because I love to dismantle it. But I'm not afraid of being challenged, right? I think anybody that's known me or this podcast for a very long time knows that I am absolutely not afraid to be challenged. I know how to stand my own. I know how to buckle. I know how to listen to both sides. And I know how to look at the other side of things and be like, wow, maybe you actually have these points where you're actually right. This one, I'm going to say I'm going to stand 10 toes down on my argument here. But so the 20-year anniversary was good, but it was interesting because from the celebration and even in the actual series, or the special itself, there were a lot of key people that were missing. So at the premiere of this, which happened yesterday, which happened on Monday, but it streamed on today, March 24th, Tuesday, 'cause this is the 20-year anniversary. But on Monday, they had like the whole premiere for it, and they did the press junket and the step and repeat and all of that. They had a whole press day of it. And Miley was there. Her family, for the most part, was there. Her sister, Noah Cyrus, was not there. And we do hear that Noah Cyrus may be estranged from the Cyrus family. And it has something had to do with like Tish dating like one of her exes or something, which is just weird. Tish is the mom. So Noah wasn't there. Two of the brothers weren't there. Interestingly, Billy Cyrus wasn't there. He wasn't at the event. He participated in the celebration, in the actual special that was filmed. He does sit down with Miley. That hasn't aired yet. So I'm assuming it's going to air within the last 20 minutes of the special. But there is a sit down where Miley does have her dad come on set. Because obviously he played her dad. Billy Ray Cyrus played her character's dad on the show as well. And so I'm looking forward to watching that. But I found it interesting that he wasn't at the premiere of it or the press promotion event of it. And neither was Emily Osment or Mitchell Musso, who played Miley's Hannah Montana's like two best friends in the series. So they were the two friends that she had throughout the entire series. And so those two characters didn't participate in the special, nor did they attend the premiere, which I also found so interesting. And granted, all of the cast does not participate in, at least from what I've seen from the trailer and the first 40 minutes of the special, not all of the cast is included in it. Like it's very much around Miley Cyrus and her reflecting on Hannah Montana and that era of her life, and Alex Cooper sitting down and asking her questions about that life and asking her questions about her time in Disney. So it's very centered around Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana. So it kind of makes sense why the other side characters weren't like involved in that, but they also didn't attend the premiere. Mitchell Musso and Emily Osment, they both did post like really sweet tributes about the show on their Instagram accounts. And Emily Osment made it clear that the reason she wasn't there is because she's off shooting her other show, because she has a series, I think, on CBS right now, and she's off filming that. So she's like, my schedule wouldn't allow me to be there, but it was interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Tish married Noah's boyfriend. Yeah, messy. I mean, we don't have that confirmed, right? My understanding is that's kind of like what people believe was the fallout from Noah and her family, which was drama. So yeah. You get the best of both worlds. But it was cute. It was nostalgic. And I do appreciate Miley reflecting on her time at Disney. She has a really sweet scene with Selena Gomez where they reflect on their time at Disney, which I thought was really cute and really sweet. And then another thing that I wanted to share is the Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach. They have a new trailer out for their new show on Roku. And I was like, what? On the Roku? So here, let's play it. Because I actually, is there any, I feel like there's probably some music in there. This may need to get cut from YouTube. We'll see. It may get cut from YouTube for copyright strikes, but hopefully not. Let's see. You get the best of both worlds. Okay, so
we have never had a conversation on camera, just the two of us. Are you ready?
Lauren and Kristen. Look at that. Wow. Oh, there's the Hillary Duff song.
In 2004, 8 friends from Laguna Beach, California were approached to follow their senior year of high school.
Is that Cavallari?
So it looks like a Real Housewives of New York, Real Houses of Orange County sort of set. They seem to have done this recently with the set of like the Housewives reunion shows, where it's like the set is on a stage, and then rather than there being like a physical dressed set behind them, it's like a big screen and it's like the ocean or something in the background. It's really pretty.
I can't believe this is happening.
But the people who lived it never really talked about what happened until now.
Back to the beach. Back to the beach, baby.
So this is a special from the Roku channel. I don't even know how to watch Roku channel, but I kind of want to, check it out. Like, this looks good. Isaac says, I never understood Laguna Beach like it's a scripted reality show. I mean, most reality shows are scripted.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
They said, who do you think is going to be prom queen? And I said, I don't know, and I don't care as long as it's not Lauren Conrad.
We did not like each other. It was a really weird thing we went through. Like, it's strange that people showed up at our high school and asked us to do this.
Where was my mother? For all of
Never seems so perfect. So it's just cute. It's sweet. It's very nostalgic. You see all of them from the original Laguna Beach cast, the first 2 seasons, because nobody watched the 3rd season when they got rid of the cast and tried to reboot it. But you see Lois there. You see them shopping in Laguna Beach. They visit a lot of like the old locations that they used to be at. So I just think it's sweet. You have Casey Wilson. Doesn't she hosts Bitch Sesh. Was that her podcast? So yeah, they're all, emotional and nostalgic. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't want to get slapped with the copyright violation if that is the case, because there's the Hillary Duff song that's playing on it. But yeah, let's go back. This is where we're going to get the real copyright infringement. Back to the beginning. When I'm singing next to him, like, what? Is that Zack Peter? Is that Hillary Duff? We don't know. Okay, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. We're so close to 126 on YouTube. What a time. What a trajectory. We're at 125.8. So we are only less than 200, or about exactly 200 away from breaking 126, which is crazy. I think we can break 150. Can we break 150 soon? Like within the next few months? I think we can do it maybe by the end of summer. 150, is that the goal? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Hype up this video. Be sure to listen on Apple Podcasts. You can also watch full edited episodes on Spotify. No Filter with Zack Peter on Spotify. And if you want ad-free episodes, you can check out ad-free episodes on Supercast. Become a member of Supercast. Yeah. Let's get it. Supercast, there's a link down below to join. No Filter, all access. All right, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Both the Hannah Montana 20 and the Laguna Beach reunion are on my to-watch list. I cannot wait to watch them. I'm definitely not going to skip. I'm going to watch all the way. The Hannah Montana reunion is out now, and the Laguna Beach reunion is available free on April 10th. So we're just a couple weeks away from that. All right, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Leave an Apple Podcast review if you're enjoying the show, and I will talk to you guys later. Ciao for now. Love you, Mina. Bye.